The new Bentley. Bentayga Speed just dropped with 650 horsepower from a twin-turbo V8, making it faster than the legendary W12 it replaces. But here's the twist. Bentley ditched their iconic 12-cylinder engine for 8 cylinders and somehow made it better in every way that matters. Let me tell you why this might be the most controversial decision Bentley has ever made, and why it's absolutely brilliant. For over a decade, the Bentayga has been Bentley's cash cow. When it launched in 2015, traditionalists lost their minds. An SUV from Bentley? The same company that built cars for James Bond was now building what Ettore Bugatti once called the fastest lorry in the world, and he meant that as an insult about Bentleys back in the day. The irony is delicious. But here's what those critics missed. The Bentayga became Bentley's most successful model ever. In 2022 alone, it accounted for 42% of total sales. We're talking about a car that starts at over $200,000, and people can't get enough of it. The ultra-luxury SUV market that didn't exist before 2015? Bentley created it, dominated it, and now they're redefining it again. The original Bentayga Speed launched in 2019 with Bentley's legendary W12 engine, a masterpiece of engineering that's basically two VR6 engines mated at a 72-degree angle. It was complex, it was powerful, and it made the Bentayga the fastest SUV in the world. That W12 cranked out 626 horsepower and 664 pound-feet of torque, launching this 5,000-pound behemoth to 60 miles per hour in 3.9 seconds. Now here's where things get interesting. In April 2024, Bentley killed the W12. Done. Finished. Over 100,000 examples built since 2003, and they just walked away from it. The new Bentayga Speed was supposed to get the hybrid V8 setup like the Continental GT Speed and Flying Spur Speed. That made sense. That's what everyone expected. Instead, Bentley threw us a curveball. They took their 4.0-liter twin-turbo V8 and cranked it up to 11. We're talking 641 horsepower. That's 15 more horses than the W12 it replaces. But here's the kicker. 850 Newton-meters of torque. That's 627 pound-feet, delivered between 2,250 and 4,500 RPM. Sure, it's slightly less than the W12's 664 pound-feet, but it arrives at a much more usable rev range. The numbers tell the real story. 0 to 60 in 3.4 seconds. That's half a second faster than the old W12 speed. Half a second. In the supercar world, that's an eternity. Top speed, 193 miles per hour. This thing will outrun a Porsche 911 Carrera S while carrying your golf clubs and 3 of your buddies. But speed is just part of the equation. What Bentley has done with the chassis is where the real magic happens. They've introduced something called ESC Dynamic mode. Basically, it's Bentley's way of saying, you can now drift your luxury SUV. The system allows on-throttle slip angles. Let that sink in. You can slide a $300,000 British luxury yacht on wheels. The audacity is breathtaking. The weight savings matter too. This new Speed is 25 kilograms lighter than the W12 version, and the weight distribution is better. That might not sound like much, but when you're dealing with a vehicle this heavy, every kilogram counts. It's like the difference between a heavyweight boxer and a light heavyweight. Same power, better agility. Let's talk about what you actually see and feel. Those 23-inch wheels? They're the biggest Bentley has ever put on a production car. They have to be, because underneath are 440mm carbon ceramic brake discs, the largest on any production car in the world. When you need to stop 5,000 pounds traveling at 193 miles per hour, you don't mess around with regular brakes. The exhaust note is where this new V8 really shines. The standard sports exhaust already sounds incredible, But option the titanium Akrapovic system, and you get what Bentley calls the loudest and most muscular-sounding Bentayga ever. This isn't some fake engine noise pumped through speakers. This is raw, unfiltered V8 thunder. Inside, it's still unmistakably Bentley. Hand-stitched leather everywhere, those gorgeous bullseye air vents, and enough customization options to bankrupt a small country. Want snow quartz pearlescent paint? That'll be €13,555, thank you very much. Black wheels? €10,370. The Naim audio system? €7,355. By the time you're done optioning one of these, you're easily north of $400,000. Here's what's really fascinating. This might be one of the last pure internal combustion Bentleys we ever see. The company has committed to going fully electric by 2030, with their first EV arriving in 2026. So this Bentayga Speed represents the end of an era and the pinnacle of traditional automotive performance. The competition is fierce and expensive. The Rolls-Royce Cullinan starts at $391,750, but only makes 563 horsepower. The Lamborghini Urus Performante makes 657 horsepower, but lacks the refinement and luxury of the Bentley. The Ferrari Purosangue is stunning, but costs significantly more. The Bentayga Speed sits in this sweet spot, where it's fast enough to embarrass supercars, but civilized enough for a cross-country road trip. What's remarkable is how Bentley has managed to make this SUV feel special in every situation. On the track, it's surprisingly agile for something this large. The all-wheel steering and dynamic chassis modes transform it from a luxury cruiser into something that can actually handle corners with enthusiasm. On the highway, it's whisper quiet and supremely comfortable. Off-road, it can handle 35-degree angles and wade through 500 millimeters of water. The market has validated Bentley's SUV gamble in spectacular fashion. In 2023, they built 5,600 Bentaygas, the highest production level for any single Bentley model that year. The waiting lists are long, the residual values are strong, and the brand cachet is undeniable. But here's what I find most interesting about this new Bentayga Speed. It represents Bentley's confidence in their own engineering. They could have played it safe, stuck with the W12, maybe added some hybrid assistance. Instead, they took their V8, turned up the boost, and created something that's objectively better in almost every measurable way. The 2025 Bentayga Speed isn't just fast. It's properly, stupidly, magnificently fast. It's the kind of vehicle that makes you question the need for anything else. Need to haul the family? Check. Want to embarrass sports cars at traffic lights? Check. Planning to arrive at your destination feeling like royalty? Double check. At $267,325 to start, it's not exactly affordable, but in the context of ultra-luxury performance SUVs, it's almost reasonable. Almost. When your main competition starts at nearly $400,000, suddenly a $270,000 Bentley looks like a bargain. So is the new Bentayga Speed the perfect fast SUV? It's faster than the old one, more engaging to drive than a Cullinan, more practical than a Purosangue, and more luxurious than an Urus. It represents the absolute pinnacle of what's possible when you combine British luxury with German engineering and unlimited budget. In a world moving toward electrification, the Bentayga Speed stands as a monument to the internal combustion engine's final hurrah. It's loud, it's fast, it's completely unnecessary, and it's absolutely magnificent. Sometimes, the best things in life are the ones you don't actually need, but desperately want.